Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be kind of a part one to my top 5 favorite RCs that I have. I don't want to say top 5 favorite RCs of all time because yeah, there's vehicles I've had that I got rid of. There's vehicles that I had, 20 years ago that I would still like to have back. But the top 5 today, and to be fair, I guess if I really wanted one of those vehicles back, I probably could have. I am not a collector. I've got a buddy who loves to collect old RCs and stuff like that. He doesn't drive them. He just has them on the shelf. I've got RCs that I consider to be, not shelf queens, but I will never super abuse them. And I'm staring at the Losi 5B, which I know for a lot of people, they're probably thinking, oh my God, why? This is my dream RC. I've wanted one for years, and I just don't want to abuse it. I don't want it to be destroyed. I always laugh because my Creighton EXB within its first week, it really, guys, oops, sorry about that. It is just rough, but it's good. It's in one piece and it's always been in one piece. So that's a cool thing. But what I want to do, guys, in this video is walk around, show you guys what I have. And then I'm going to be doing a follow-up where I'm going to talk about, again, my top 5 RCs, the ones I enjoy the most, but more so the ones that if tomorrow somebody came to me and said you could only have 5 RCs, it doesn't matter about the price or the value, whether it's a collectible or not, whether it has a ton of money in parts, you can just have 5 and that's it. That's what that video is going to be. It's not going to be the 5 top bashers. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be, if I could only have 5 RCs, which ones would I want to have? Like I just mentioned, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to walk around the room. We're going to check out what I have. And then, like I said, I'll be following it up with another video. All right, we're going to start off first with the Habao Hyper MT Plus 2. Probably one of, not the only, but one of the, overlooked bashers out there. It's sad because there's guys out there who really, really know how to rip their trucks. And because they're in bed with a certain company, they don't venture out into other brands. And like I said, I'd love to see, them behind the radio of this thing because this is a crazy truck. I have bashed it. I've had a lot of fun. I've gone, tried a couple of different motors and all that kind of fun stuff in it. And I've only ever broke a rod end. What are the ones back here? Oh, and I've got an issue with the shock. There's definitely something I've done to a shock. I'm going to actually just rebuild all 4. But this is a super fun truck. Again, I'm not, guys, going to be going into all the details. I'm not even going to bother be taking the bodies off right now. I'm just kind of going around the room and showing you guys what I have. But this is a 7th scale, 7.57 scale monster truck, independent suspension. It is not a twin vertical plate. Even though it might look like it is, it's not. It's more of a, I don't know what it is, C-ish kind of thing. But again, if it makes the cut, if it makes the top 5, you'll see more about this truck. Beside it is my axial rift kit. This is obviously fairly new. There's nothing done to it besides the Trail bead locks and the Trail servo saver. This is the one from the LMT, but it does fit fine on here. They do now have one for the Rift, but when I ordered mine, they didn't. So this truck is funny because I am really enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm enjoying the Rift or if I'm just enjoying having a rock racer / rock bouncer, whatever you want to call it, kicking around now and being able to run it, running that solid axles, all that kind of stuff. So again, super fun truck. I'm just not sure if it's the Rift. If it makes the cut, we'll go into more detail. Behind here, my DX6R is charging. This radio, super touchy for me, guys, because I did a crazy trade for it. I don't think I've ever, I'm just going to say it. I don't think I've ever been bent over so bad in RC as the trade I did for this radio. But oh well. I have it now. It's in good shape. I use it, so, whatever. Up here, I'm going to call it the infamous Haas for myself. I say that because this vehicle, guys, I was super excited to build, and I did all the /4x4 ultimate bits on it. I get it out for a run, and I didn't really enjoy it. But since then, as I've kind of lowered my expectations on the truck, as well as I did change up the ESC. If you didn't see that video, it's a few videos back where I installed a Sidewinder 8-scale ESC, upped the pinion a bit, and the truck has really transformed. The truck now is actually a ton of fun, and I do really enjoy it. 7PX, hey, what can you say? Probably the best, well, they've got obviously newer versions now of it, but probably one of the best radios out there. Super comfortable, touchscreen, and I just love it. It's, yeah, people will ask me this thing compared to the DX6R. The 7PX is just super comfortable. The response, everything about it is perfect. And that's all I'm going to say. Over here, Traxxas Rustler. This is my daughter's. I can't say much else. I owned a, this is my second Rustler 4x4 VXL. The first one I bashed it a little bit, nothing crazy. This is pretty much just been my daughter's truck. As you can see, it's in absolutely perfect condition. She just drives it around the front yard. We go to the field the odd time with it, but it just, you know, it handles well because it's, you know, wide and stuff. So it's not like she flips it a whole lot. So that's why it kind of looks so good. Yeah, Rustler 4x4 VXL. I don't really have much else to say about that. What I will have a lot to say about, and I'm not even going to hide it, guys. Of course, the X-Maxx is going to be in the top 5. This thing is a beast. It is, you know, I wanted to mention this, guys, earlier when I was talking about the Habao, and it's a truck that I really wish would get into the hands of some of the more hardcore bashers. I've been kind of getting better at driving this truck and pushing it a little bit more. I just don't have a great place to run. I don't have the BMX tracks. I don't have any of that stuff. It's pretty much, I go out with my ramp and I push as far as I can with my ramp. So if we ever someday get something like that around here, oh my geez, guys, I would be so excited. But the X-Maxx, hey, it's the basher. It's the truck. One thing I'm going to talk about though right now while we're looking at this, because this truck does look awesome, and you're probably thinking, wow, it looks brand new. It obviously is not. If you guys haven't watched any of the videos, there's tons of videos with this body on it. And I always laugh because people will comment, oh, they like what I did back here. But this looks the way it does, guys, because I cut it out because it was just demolished. It was falling apart. It looked horrible. So I just trimmed it to make it look a little nicer. That is why this is cut out. Now, the other thing, I get a lot of questions regarding just the shape of my trucks. And people will say like, oh, do you ever drive them? Or, you know, why does that body look so nice? Again, there's lots of videos, guys, on my channel of this truck bashing, jumping, rolling, banging. They look good because of two things. One, I do a lot of driving on grass. So when I'm rolling and bashing, they're landing on grass. And two, every once in a while, guys, body comes off, I'll drench it in Windex. And it just kind of cleans things up, makes things shiny again. It's just it's a good way to, you know, kind of bring back a body that looks like absolute crap. You know, sometimes I think about getting rid of this body, trading it or something like that. And then as soon as I put it back on the X-Maxx, I'm like, nope, this thing looks way too good for me to get rid of. My Axial SMT10, Shelf Queen. Not even going to try to hide that. This truck was just one that I always wanted. I got it, I don't want to say, well, it was used, but it was in very, very good shape. Obviously, I have put some money into it. I've put some parts on it and all that kind of stuff. I've tuned it a little bit for myself. But this is a Shelf Queen. And you know what? I always said I would never get rid of it. But I probably would now if, you know, either the right trade came along. But because to try to sell this truck for what I have into it, you know, we all know how it's gone now in RC, and it's pretty much, if you're not giving it away, you're not going to sell it. And I'm not going to give away this truck. Proline Pro Fusion short course 4x4 kit with a Monster Fusion body. So that's the body that Proline kind of came out with for the Slash 4x4 if you wanted to turn it into a monster truck. It's got the 2.8 trenchers, belted, worst tire in the history of tires. You know, you got to kind of laugh at me right now because from the beginning, guys, with this truck, I have complained about these tires because they just suck. The traction is horrible. The compound just feels hard, and they don't hook up on anything. Yet I still run them. The reason they're still on the truck is because they're belted. They don't destroy the inside of the body. So if I want to keep using the Monster Fusion body, they don't destroy it. The belted MX-38s, 2.8s, are taller, and I know what they're going to do, and I've already got the body raised quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I think the days of maybe just this body in general I'll either destroy it running a different tire, or I will just set it aside and put a different body on it. But either way, Proline Pro Fusion short course 4x4, a very good platform, flawed in a couple of areas. And unfortunately, Proline just kind of was like, meh, we don't need to deal with that. The guys that worked on the truck, they tried. They were in the groups, guys. They were in the Facebook groups and all that stuff. They were trying their hardest, but unfortunately, Proline themselves, the actual company, just kind of said, hey, screw you guys. You bought the truck. Sucks to be you guys. That's why you don't see more of these trucks, because it got a very bad reputation. And because of that, it just never became the truck that I think it could have been. It honestly would have probably replaced the Slash 4x4 as that general kind of basher truck that you can do everything to. Again, Proline was just like, meh. Arma Felony. Oh, guys. This beautiful car. You know what? I don't think there's ever been a car that looks better than this thing. I've got some goodies underneath it. I actually just finished installing the rest of my Basher Queen bits on it. So the carbon fiber shock towers and all that stuff. And again, if this makes the top 5, you'll see all that. This video, I just want it to be quick. I just want you guys to see what I've got so that you kind of, you guys can kind of put together maybe even your own list. I'm curious, if you guys want, throw a comment down and let me know what you think my top 5 will be. I'm kind of curious about that. Losi 5B. Well, I don't want to call this a shelf queen because I will be driving it and I've got more plans for it. You will never see this thing really being beat hard. I will not be taking it off crazy jumps. I want to keep this thing looking good. You know what? Okay, I'm going to take a quick minute to kind of discuss this right now. The reason I feel like I don't need to abuse this, the reason I feel like, I don't need to push it to its limits, is because of two things. One, two. Those two vehicles are similar in size, and I don't feel like I don't feel like the 5B would end up being super crazy above in performance, all that stuff, bashability. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's my word now. Of those other trucks, of the Kraton 8S and of the X-Maxx, I don't feel like I would be filling something if I was to really get out and beat this thing. If money was never an object and I could own a couple of these, then yes, I would have one that would be what you see here in front of you, and I would have one that I would beat the crap out of. But money is always an object, and I just want to keep this thing, guys, looking a certain way. I will be driving it. I will be enjoying it, and I do have plans to upgrade ESC motor and all that kind of stuff to make it, obviously a lot more fun than it is right now. But you just won't see the crazy high-flying jumps. You're going to see jumps, just not the crazy high-flying jumps. Underneath that, oh man, we come down to one of the trucks that has pretty much ruined most RC trucks for me. The Arma Kraton EXB. This is the later release of the EXB, so the rear diff is not an issue. I haven't even, guys, pulled the diffs apart in this truck. It just comes out, it runs with zero issues, and you can just beat on it. And again, guys, it's ruined so many trucks for me because this thing just does everything so well. It just is amazing. And actually, I want to get out and run this truck soon. I'm going to be running those MX-38s, the Badlands. These are the non-belted ones. But I want to get out and just kind of drive it without the jump and just see what kind of fun this thing could be. Because when you think of Kraton EXB, you're just thinking hardcore bashing, jumping, high flying fun. You're not really thinking like, hey, let's just go out and hang out and drive it around and see what it can do. So I'm probably going to do, guys, I'm going to get out one day with it, because anytime I take this thing out, it goes out with the ramp. And actually, I haven't had it out in about a week or 2 weeks because my ramp is falling apart. But yeah, the Creighton EXB has kind of ruined so many trucks that I used to love. And this thing just, it dominates, and it just does everything so well that it has made other trucks kind of obsolete, in my opinion. Beside it, my Habao Hyper SSTE. It's funny, these are both kind of like 8 scale truggies, but this one is, well, obviously a lot smaller. Well, a lot smaller in the body and the tires, obviously. I've got the Outcast 4S tires on there right now. This thing is just, I always call this kind of like my luxury RC, if that makes any sense. And why I say that is because it drives like a dream. I don't know what it would do if you really hardcore bashed it. Again, I have this thing. This is like something I can go out and I enjoy. I rip it around. I do jump it. There's video, guys. I have a lot of fun with it, but it's just such a good looking RC. And like I said, guys, it's kind of like, I guess I could compare it to having like a, like a really sweet, let's say, old car, even though this isn't old, sitting in the garage. You take it out, you drive it, you enjoy it, but you wouldn't beat the crap out of it. That's my Hyper SSTE. Now, below that is my poor excuse for a Creighton 8S. So I still haven't fixed this from my one outing where I kind of took my bashing to the next level. I broke a couple of mounts. I bent the chassis. So I need to spend a little bit of time and a little bit of money on this thing. I'm probably just going to replace the chassis with an EXB chassis. It's a few $100 Canadian cheaper, actually over a couple $100 cheaper Canadian than going to the M2C one. Hopefully I won't regret it. I know there's probably people right now that have already started writing, you get what you pay for, blah, 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 blah. But my EXB chassis is perfect. And hey, you know what? I'm going to try it with this because, again, the M2C chassis is very expensive. And I'm not as hardcore as some of the guys that run those chassis. So hopefully I can just get away with an EXB chassis. But yeah, Arma Creighton 8S. Right now it doesn't have a system in it either because I have the 800 kV and the XL X2 in my Losi 5B. This will be getting a different system some point during the winter. So that, the castle, will be going back down into the Creighton. Last, but definitely not least, my laser nut. I just got this a few weeks ago. It took me a long time to decide on getting this vehicle because so many creators and things I'd watched on YouTube and stuff just really kind of put this vehicle down, and it wasn't reliable and they were breaking it all the time and it just wasn't fun. Yet, and again, I've not hardcore driven this thing or bashed it or anything yet. I've been out and I've had some fun and I've climbed some hills and stuff. I haven't broke anything, and this thing is so much fun to drive. It is basically a slightly stretched short course truck. It's everybody knows it's based off the Tenacity, but then that comes from the Losi SCTE, which was like an award-winning, won all the races short course truck. So it's funny that people kind of put down this truck. Now, there are some things, you look at the guys, the size of the drive shafts and stuff, they're a teeny weeny. I haven't broken any yet. There are lots of upgrades out there. So when that happens, I will upgrade it. But you drive this thing around, and again, even with the 2.2s, it feels like you're driving something else because it handles so well. You can throw it around, you can slide it, you can rip it around, and it's fast. I would like it to be faster, but it is still fast. So yeah, that is my Losi laser nut. And you know what? The fact that it even just comes with the light bar and these little side pods, these ones are like kind of an amber, is super cool. It's not something you need to do right off the bat, which is why you haven't really seen anything on this, like upgrades wise. I feel like my, Rift is just going to be an endless money pit. There's so much stuff I want to do to it to get it up to par. And then just to give it a look that I want to. It's just endless parts. And it was funny because I was looking for parts one day for this. There was a couple of more things I'm going to be grabbing. And then I came downstairs for something and I was like, oh yeah, my poor laser nut, it's stock still. So I am going to try to change up a couple of things. I would like to just, maybe add a little bit of bling to this sway bar and stuff like that, but not much else. I don't want to put a bunch of weight or anything on it. I don't want to ruin the fun of it. But anyways, guys, there you have it. I feel like this video went on a lot longer than I wanted it to. But I just wanted to... Oh, wait. I forgot about this little guy. All right. Over here is a Element RC Enduro. Was a kit. Obviously, it's running the axial body, and I'm running these, I don't even remember what they're called, destroyers. Proline 2.8 destroyers. They are discontinued now, so if you find a set and you want them, and wherever they are, they're in stock, I would grab them. Yeah, this thing, I got it in a trade. I don't think I mentioned it, but I did trade my Max for the laser nut and this thing. And you can blame the Crane EXB for that. That's all I'm going to say right now. You'll hear more about that in the next video. But anyways, guys, there you have it. This is what I've got. I don't have a storage. I don't have a bunch of, RCs sitting packed somewhere. That to me just wouldn't make any sense. One thing I'm also going to mention, guys, before this video ends, and you may have already picked up on it by just following me around the room. I don't buy, everything that I have, I feel, guys, is like different. So I don't buy a whole bunch of the same things. I love the Felony. I kind of for a while thought, hey, I should get an infraction. But really, what's the point? I would rather just have one vehicle that I can focus, my time, my money, all that kind of stuff on, than trying to build up two of sort of the same things. That's why I don't have, a whole bunch of fifth scales. That's why I don't have 4 X-Maxes or, all those kind of trucks. It just doesn't make any sense. One, I don't think I could afford it. Two, you know what? Again, actually, it comes down to money. I hate saying this, guys, but you know what? Every time I buy a new vehicle, and I'm assuming you guys are probably the same way, you look at all the cool stuff that's out there for them, and you think, oh, I want to upgrade this. I want to do tires, rims, parts. You start to see the parts that you have to upgrade, the parts that do break. And when you've got a huge collection, it costs a lot of money to keep it running. Everything I have, guys, I drive. Everything that I have, I enjoy. Yeah, I've got my SMT10 that pretty much only ever sees the front yard and kind of goes up and down the street a little bit, but I still enjoy it. I still want to keep it, and that's why it just sits there looking, well, pretty with the pink. Anyways, guys, that's it. There are no picks, just because I don't want to lug every single one of these outside. And if I did bring some of them out, you probably would know my top 5. But anyways, guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. The top 5 video will be coming soon. And as always, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And like I mentioned, there are no picks.